Hi guys, welcome back to Babylon. We're going to do a short review for Ethan Hawke's, I don't know if it's latest film, but it's latest thriller,
Recent film,
recent
yeah.
film, The Black Phone, directed by
Scott
Scott
Derrickson.
Derrickson. We're gonna say
Mm,
what we didn't like about it, then we're gonna say what
yeah,
we did like
the
about it,
bad,
then
the
we're gonna
good,
talk.
and an overall. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so
So,
let's get going. Hit
okay.
us with your bad. We'll start.
So
We'll build it up to the good things.
it's gonna be a spoiler-filled short review. So if you haven't seen the film yet, we recommend you go watch it, and
Go
then
check it out.
go check it out, and
Yeah.
then watch our review. It's in mid 1970s, serial murderer kidnaps has a liking to young boys, and he kidnaps
The grabber.
and the grabber, yeah, Ethan Hawke's character, he grabs young boys, and then he murders them in his house, and then he buries them in another house. Basically,
He
that's the
grabs young boys.
yeah, that's
That
what he
sounds like
grabs.
something else.
He grabs you
He
know he grabs
kidnaps
young
them.
boys, and we don't know it doesn't specify in the film what he does with them. He just kills them in a gruesome way. He enjoys killing them because he states that he sometimes kills them slowly. That's the film, and the film revolves around Finn, a young boy who is
Mhm.
held up in his basement, and he is aided by the ghosts of the killer's murdered victims, and
Who
his who
communicate?
communicate with him through a black phone that is mounted on the wall. And he's also aided by his younger sister, who possesses extrasensory abilities to know where things are happening because she has dreams.
Yeah, yeah. Not so much aided, but she's more aiding the police to find
Yeah, she's
him.
aiding the police.
Yeah,
She did okay. So that's basically the film. That's the entire film, and
yeah.
that's what is showcased more or less in the trailer. There's a gimmick revolving around this film, and that gimmick is that the ghosts of murder victims are talking to Finn, the character, and they help him escape, defeat the murderer. If you remove that gimmick out of the film, then the film is just another rehashing of a thriller, murder a victim, captivity style film, and that's all it is. And in the film, there's a moment where you realize that this is what it's going to be. He gets a call, and then you see in the background whatever walking corpse of a kid talking to him, and he can't see them. Only the audience can see them, and there's nothing past that. There's no other unveiling of more story elements. That's the film. That's the gimmick, and that's the film. And the film plays out and ends. That's it. That was one thing that bothered me about the film, that it doesn't reach to give you any more interesting thing aside from the gimmick. Another thing that bothered me about the film is that there are characters there, specifically one or two characters, that seem pointless. For some reason, the murderer's younger brother, who's a coke addict, is um, is a house guest at Ethan Hawke's house of captive kids, and he doesn't know that his brother's the killer. And he happens to be a very enthusiastic investigator on his own merit, and he's trying to find whoever's kidnapping these kids. And all this time, it's his brother. I don't know what that was relevant to the plot. And they present him for like 5 minutes to let us know here's this character, and then he dies. He gives nothing to the plot aside for maybe strengthening the belief within the police. When there's a point where the little girl is calling the police, telling them the killer's in this house and this address. I had it in a dream. So the police rush to
Mhm.
that house without questioning that their intel came from a girl's dream. So I'm guessing that they probably knew that Ethan Hawke's brother lived there, and they connected the dots. That's why they responded so quickly. But that character doesn't give much to the plot. So I don't know if only if you've seen the film,
Um,
then what I say makes
just
sense.
to just to sharpen a couple of points. He's not a guest there; he actually lives
He
there.
actually
You
lives
said that
there.
at
Yeah.
the end, but he's yeah, and they don't quite rush straight away with the girl. It takes a little bit of things happening before they rely on her intel. Um, so yeah, but go on.
Yeah, that was another element. By the way, I'm talking about things that could have probably been fixed had the script been more, thought of. That because that character looks like an afterthought. It's no, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's funny, but my bad points are almost identical. The brother character I thought should have been explored more.
Yeah.
At least give him more of a reason to be there and not just throw him in. But um, after writing my notes on for this review, I actually went and checked out a little bit of sort of trivia stuff about this film. And one of the things that caught my eye was that the script was written in a shorter time than it took them to shoot the film. That made a lot of sense to me. That the script has not been really worked over enough before it went into production, which is a very, I think, amateur move. But I mean, that's how it's done in indie and wherever else. But I don't know why they rushed it, because your first point is the big point in here, that some elements just seem very, very forced and contrived. It's like there's no reason for certain things to be there. One, the phone, because they actually give you something that tells you that Ethan Hawke's character suspects that there's something going on with that phone, but he leaves it there. Why not just rip it off the wall and take it out? You have a room that is almost completely empty. There's just a mattress on the floor, but there's a phone on the wall. Why? You know what I mean? It's almost like you leave something in there. If this kid had, MacGyver-like qualities, he could have maybe made it work. Why leave it in there? He could have used it for something. Yeah. He could have taken it off the wall and used it as a weapon, and he kind of did actually. But again, why? Why leave it there? Makes no sense. For a kidnapper and whatever. It's like the phone, it's just a very, very contrived element. It's there because the scriptwriter wanted it there. There's no other reason. Another thing, the mask. I actually expressed this when we did the trailer reaction. Yeah. Why is he wearing a mask? He's already seen him when he grabbed him.
Arguably with makeup. Arguably with makeup, because his face.
No. His face was normal. He just had a top hat. He's seen him, and he's wearing different masks. Why is he changing masks? And I thought maybe that's happening in the kid's mind, but it's not.
No, it's not.
It's like he comes in and he's wearing different masks at different times, and it made no sense.
And apparently, there's importance to that. Sorry, there's importance to that mask, because when he takes it off at the end, then he suddenly becomes incapacitated, but he could kidnap him without the mask.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's all contrived. It's all forced into the story. I read that the masks were designed by Tom Savini. And it made me think, okay, that's why they had the masks in the film, because they had Tom Savini design something and they had to put it in there because Tom Savini is awesome. I love Tom Savini. But this mask in this film, as awesome as it looks, and it looks awesome, give it a better reason to be there. He didn't have to see his face when he grabbed him. Make it more interesting for the viewer. The other thing was the dreams. The girl has dreams about where these kids are, even before her brother gets taken. So she dreamed about the previous ones. She knows when they died, and all they tell you is she has these dreams because her mother had them. She had that power, that talent, whatever you want to call it. Why? It's forced into the story. You know what I mean? It's
not explored to sufficient level. Yeah.
All of these things are in the film because the script writer needed to get somewhere, and he used those as tools. There is no other reason for them to be there. And you can, for an intelligent enough film viewer, somebody who knows film and scripts, if you watch this, it's like, okay, why is this there? It makes no real sense within the story. And it's like they're not even trying. Yeah. And that, for me, it took out the whole element of suspension of disbelief. I struggled with it, and I sort of forced myself to put all that aside and still watch the film, because there's a lot of good points as well.
Yeah.
But these bad points are pretty bad as far as I'm concerned, because to me, script comes first, and these elements in this script, it's like how they try to make this different to any other sort of kidnapping film.
No, yeah,
But it's so forced that it's not that different. It's really, like you said, if you take the gimmicks out, you have just a normal, regular kidnapping film, which in my mind is more interesting.
Yeah, but I didn't want to overly nitpick, but maybe it's not worth to mention, but it is a problem in the film that the story begins when kids are starting to get to disappear, and you have 5 kids or 4 kids disappearing from the same school, and this killer is grabbing them all in broad daylight. At some point, you won't have cops surrounding that school.
That's a massive plot hole, because it's happening in this town, yet the kids walk home alone. There's no security anywhere. Not only that, he lives in a house in a suburb, and that truck has not been seen where the kids are taken.
Yeah.
His truck is very recognizable.
Yeah, conspicuous.
It's so obvious. It sticks out like a sore thumb. And he keeps the bodies in the house across the street, and that's why they didn't catch him.
Yeah.
A lot of that was really, really, really weak. It's like it's one of my good points is that the setting is so dark and gloomy, and it made it realistic. In the 70s, this town where there's a guy kidnapping kids, and the mood of the whole town is actually shown visually, which is great. But the reason that it's there is not. And I had a really tough time with this film because of that. It's just also not believable. Even, within the reality of the film, it's not believable. So, yeah. And his brother lives with him, but he didn't suspect him this whole time. It's been going on for years. And all of a sudden, he sees it on the map. And there's no real reason, again.
No.
It's like he's closing in on him, and he knows that his brother is closing in on him.
And when the kid tries to escape with the lock, where's the brother? Suddenly, it made me think like maybe I'm watching this in different time scales. Maybe this is happening years apart.
The brother was actually across the street.
He was across the street.
He wasn't in that house. He wasn't upstairs. He was in the house across the street. That's what I think, or that's what it seemed like. Otherwise,
when he realized something was going on in the basement, he was in that house where the kid tried to escape.
I think so, because he tells the kid not to be loud or something, because his brother might hear him. But then in one scene, he's sitting in the kitchen waiting for the kid to come up when he leaves the door open. I guess that's when his brother was at work. But how did he not see that setup that his brother has? With all the
locks on the doors, Oh, you mean how did the investigating road? Yeah.
Both ways. His brother should have seen all these locks and things, and it's like he lives there for however long, and he hasn't gone down to the basement.
Yeah. And the whole bit with the black balloons, he uses black balloons to cover any commotion that he has when he pushes the kid into the van. But the black giant van in the middle of the street and kidnapping kids from the same school, that's fine. The balloons will
Not only that, they described the black balloons as a thing with the kidnapping, and they didn't suspect that a party clown might have something to do with it, who drives a black van.
Yeah.
He sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
And they could never catch him because he was too smart.
It's like the investigation didn't happen until the girl came to them and told them that,
A lot of it is weak.
Yeah.
It's just weak.
Yeah.
And this took down this film a lot, for me, but it does have a lot of good points, which made this film really tough to watch, like a real struggle. I was like, I wanted to love it. I ended up kind of liking it, but not loving it because of this. And on another film, this would have taken it right down. But here it manages to do okay. So let's get into the positives. What did you think were the positives in this?
I really like it's not just in this film, but the ability of Derrickson to give you the 70s feel, even in a home video type of visualization. He does it really well. I mean, it's like seamless. You're watching the 70s. You
Yeah.
feel like you're in the 70s. You feel like you're watching a documentary, especially in her dream sequences where it looks like home video. And I think the rhythm itself also, even though many things didn't make sense, the rhythm, the flow, and the rhythm of the visuals and the entire arc of the main character of Finn, that worked.
Mhm.
That was fine. That was actually great. The whole toughness, what it was like to be in high school in the 70s, where you don't have safe spaces
Yeah,
and all that bullshit.
bullies and
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
bullies. Things get gory and bloody, and things are really hard. And also things are really hard to. It's tough to be a high school kid, and also all the
Mhm.
references to that time. It really sold it for me. I mean, it made me enjoy watching just from the visual aspect, the whole
Mhm.
thing with the 70s. And overall, it wasn't for me. It wasn't a painful experience. It just was, yeah, okay. It's just another film. I didn't suffer through it, but also I wasn't mesmerized. I expected to be mesmerized because of the trailer, because I kept thinking something's going on here that I'm not seeing, that some sort of some maybe more depth. I credited more depth than it actually had. But the anticipation gave me a somewhat of a positive experience, and then of course the disappointment at the end. But overall, it was a nice experience.
Okay. There was one point that I forgot to mention, which was in my negatives. I think this film also tries to kind of live in two worlds. One of it is what we talked about, which is the dark setting and the way that dark mood that Derrickson likes to have in his films, which is fantastic. But this film also panders to audience of films like It, um, Stranger Things. It's very, very obvious that it does that. It tries to sort of hone in on that audience and bring them over because they love those other two so much. There are scenes in this that they might tell us that it's some kind of an homage or something to It, but to me, it's just like it copies elements and tries to put them in here to give those viewers something familiar that they will like, and they will not be sure why. The whole girl on the bicycle, she was wearing that
Yeah, the
yellow
same.
raincoat,
Yeah,
the ghosts, the way she encountered them in the street.
yeah. It's
Um,
jump scare city with
the,
those.
the
Yeah,
yeah, the clown, even the way that the grabber's voice was a little like a kind of like a witch kind of thing. And again, having the kids um, take such a sort of a big role in the film to me was a little bit Stranger Things, the
yeah.
sister, like I said. But that is to me also a positive in this film because the kids are freaking awesome.
Yep.
I thought they all put in fantastic performances.
Authentic. Yep.
Even more so, yeah, even more so than in Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Uh, and It. I thought they were really, really good, really convincing. His best friend or one of his friends or whatever you want to call him, the guy, the strong guy who gets taken later. He was really good, really likable. And again, some of the ghost kids, even though we didn't see them when they were alive, but we only see them as ghosts, they were likable.
Yeah.
They gave him some kind of just a little bit enough sort of a character
Yeah.
that made them interesting. The relationship between Finn and his sister was really good,
Yeah.
but again, the sister was a really, really cool character with something that I see as a big flaw because the dreams thing is just,
Yeah.
you know,
I think
it's
that
almost
I think
it's a version of Deus Ex Machina. It's like the scriptwriter needed a tool to get to
yeah.
where he wanted to get to, and he put it in
I think, but the
there.
merit of her character, they could have possibly made something more interesting that had nothing to do with dreams. And also, you're mentioning positives, and I already did mine. Her relationship between her and her father, Jeremy Davis.
Yeah, he's really good.
That
Yeah.
was a very very well put element in the film where you see he's an abusive father, but he's abusive because he can't handle the responsibility of two children, and he's a sort of a broken man, and that's nice to see
He
in that way, in that fashion.
He's kind of in a slump. He's
Yeah,
traumatized. He doesn't want the girl to end up like her mother did, that kind of thing. So there's a
yeah,
backstory. It was a little bit
yeah,
interesting. I thought they should have done a little bit more with him, but it was still good enough. I thought Ethan Hawke was good.
yeah,
Different elements, again, the mask, the voice, I didn't love, but he was still good. He beefed up a bit for this role as
yeah,
well. And the 70s setting, like I said, dark, gloomy, realistic, really good. The film was shot well, well edited,
yeah.
good soundtrack. Derrickson, he has a really, really good eye. And you know, the cinematography is always interesting, and that's what kind of keeps you going, no matter how much you dislike certain elements.
Yeah.
Which really is what carried me through this film. You
Yeah,
know,
it gives you a feel more than a story. It gives you a feel
yeah, he's
that
really,
keeps you on a seat.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's very good at directing his actors. He's very good at keeping things moving, so you don't think about certain elements for too long. You know, like especially if they're negative.
yeah,
Um, the concept is almost, it's like it's not completely unoriginal, but it's not exactly original. And again, what he tried to use to make it unoriginal for me, they're plot holes, so not exactly a positive.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, the big positive is that it kept me interested throughout. I was in spite of very shaky suspension of disbelief, I kept going and I didn't suffer too badly
No, yeah.
throughout most of the film. Where
But
do you see it in your overall?
it was a pleasant viewing. I didn't suffer through it. Had I not seen the trailer, then maybe
Mm.
maybe I would have been less disappointed because I wouldn't know what to expect. But the trailer
Mm.
paints it like it has a lot more depth than it really does. So that's one thing that's my issue. That's my subjective
Yeah,
opinion.
that was my concern with the trailer. If you
Yeah,
remember, I thought that something like this might happen. I
yeah,
was not happy that it did, but yeah.
yeah. But
What
overall,
did you give it out of 10?
I think I gave it 7.6 out of 10.
Okay. It's amazing, like to me as well, that it still scores fairly high, even though it has all these issues.
Yeah,
It's
because
kind of a testament to Derrickson's skills, because he
yeah,
does really have them. I think he's a good director,
yeah,
but I think this script is if I had to grade the script on its own, it wouldn't do well. Um,
yeah,
but the film to me is I gave it a 6.8 because of these things. I struggled, but I still found a lot of things to enjoy about it.
yeah.
Um,
All its problems are only script related. Anything else that has to do with the artistic form, it's top notch.
well, yeah, well, to me, my favorite Derrickson film is Sinister,
Yeah,
by
mine as well.
far,
Mine as
and
well.
I
Yes.
like that. I like that this one had a bit of a nod to Sinister in it, because the phone line, it goes across the wall in a similar way to the crack in that post in the Sinister poster.
I
The crack or the blood
didn't catch
spray, I
that
can't
one.
remember, but it's
Didn't catch.
very similar. Reminded me of that. So I kind of like this one, but I thought it should have been much better.
That's I think that's the because Sinister and the Black Phone came from the same guy. That's what I think.
Mm.
That's I think that's the core of my disappointment, quote unquote.
And
Because
Sinister and this one are very much along the same sort of subgenre, even though Sinister is supernatural horror, and this is sort of a supernatural thriller.
yeah, but in Sinister, in Sinister, Derrickson tells you you're gonna watch a film. Oh, you think you know what you're watching? You're not watching what you're watching. You're watching what I want you to watch, and he blows you out of the water. I was expecting something like that in this film, and I didn't get it. I got
No, it's not as
underwhelmed.
clever. That's for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, I think that's it for now for the Black Phone.
yeah. Okay. So if you enjoyed this video, guys, please be sure to like it, subscribe, and click the little bell icon so you'll get notified on all our future videos. What did you think about the Black Phone? Did you like it? Did you hate it?
Yeah, let us know. Do you agree? Do you disagree? It's all
Yeah.
good. And yeah, let us know if there are other ones you want us to get into. And again, thanks for your time. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it, and we hope to see you again in the next one.
Yeah. Okay. So, bye,
See you next
guys.
time.